From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Welcome to Northeast Current. My name is James May and I'm the Regional Press Director for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation here in northeastern Pennsylvania. And I'm here with Chris Thomashefsky, who is the Design Project Manager for one of our biggest projects that we have going on here in the Northeast right now. And it's a project that involves 6 roundabouts. Yes. And I've got to tell you, as the Community Relations Press Director for PennDot, probably the most common question I get in my office is something dealing with roundabouts. People, because it's a new concept, a lot of people are asking, why are we going with roundabouts? How do I maneuver my way through a roundabout? So we're going to take the next 15 minutes and share with the public why we have roundabouts, what's happening on this project here specifically, and how do we get through these roundabouts in a manner that is safe and for the public as we work to maneuver through these. So first of all, Chris, can you just give us kind of a big picture overview? Where are we in relation to the entire project, and how is this project coming along?
Sure. Well, first I'll answer your first question. Why do we have roundabouts? Well, it's PennDOT's policy to investigate the feasibility of a roundabout at any time we have an intersection project. So that first and foremost, we always look to see if it's feasible to install a roundabout, because roundabouts are a safer way to handle the traffic. So when this project was being developed, the South Valley Parkway project, which is a brand new roadway, which to alleviate traffic off of Middle Road, we looked at installing roundabouts.
So the policy is that whenever, like on a project like this, when we're doing a new road going in, where in the past maybe we'd have a traffic signal here or stop signs here, right. The policy now is that first and foremost, we look and say, is this a place that we could install a roundabout?
Correct.
So I assume it's going to be safe to say then that as we move forward in the future, I know obviously we have the 3 roundabouts up at the airport that a lot of attention has been given to. There's a new roundabout going in Dallas and 6 roundabouts here.
Correct.
I don't know that we have any more in the works right now, but I think it's probably safe to assume that moving forward across the state, more roundabouts will be coming to Pennsylvania.
Yes, they will.
Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay, so yes. We will always look and say, is this a place that we can put a roundabout? And if the answer to that is yes, then we will move forward with roundabouts.
Correct.
So you kind of alluded to it before. The reason for roundabouts is what?
Safety.
Okay, so safety, they're safe. They tend to be safer.
They increase the capacity at the intersection, so that way more cars will be able to get through the intersection. It's more of a free flow movement. Okay. So that way you're not stopping, starting back up. So you're just sort of going slow and continuously moving through the roundabout. So it improves traffic congestion, and then improves safety. If there is if there is an accident at the intersection, there'll be lower impact. There'll be more of a side swipe instead of a head-on or a T-bone accident that you would see at a standard intersection.
So there's a greater chance you'll lose your mirror and not your life.
Correct. That
okay.
is correct.
And that's good,
Yes.
because a lot of times, I think because they are new concepts and we're not used to them, people assume that, well, I'm not really familiar with this, therefore it's more dangerous and there's a greater chance that somebody's going to get seriously injured in a roundabout, where the science behind it just says that's just not accurate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So where do we stand here in this? So this is obviously one of our roundabouts. What number is this?
This will be...
Take me all the way from State Route 29 to where this road is going and kind of walk through where we are here.
From Route 29, you'll actually go through 6 roundabouts total. This will be the 5th of number of 6 that will be on your journey through to Luzerne County Community College.
Okay, so if I get off of State Route, and I think we have some of those here behind us. So if I get off State Route 29 and I want to go to Luzerne County Community College, right now I'm going down through Middle Road.
Correct.
Correct? And through a road there that looks like it was designed as a cattle path
exactly.
about 100 years ago. Very, very narrow. And I think, is that a lot of the rationale for why we're doing this project and why we're building this?
It is. That's a big part of that project, just to get the increased traffic that goes to the school off of Middle Road, because it's just so narrow. It's high, you want to have a lower speed facility. Cars are going too fast on there, and so this is part of the big push to to alleviate that
and
traffic.
I know that's an area that we've done numerous news stories about, that we've gotten a lot of calls. There's so many. It's great that there's things happening here at the college, and there's more students coming in, but that also means that a road that was designed probably 100 years ago for some guy who took his cows down through the middle of the town there, now is trying to handle all of the traffic that's coming through here, and it becomes a safety issue. So the big picture for why we're doing this is to eliminate the traffic from there and move it over to here.
Correct.
Okay, so walk me through here now.
Okay.
So these are the first 3 of the roundabouts. What's the first one that I come to, and can you talk about which ones are, I think we're in a single lane roundabout, which ones are single lane and which one are double lane?
So the first one, if you get off 29, the first one you'll enter into is actually a double lane roundabout. So it'll be 2 lanes because there'll be increased number of traffic vehicles that are getting off of Route 29 to get either to Middle Road, they'll head in this direction. And to get to South Valley Parkway, you'll have to head in this direction.
And what we're calling the South Valley Parkway is this new road, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if they want to get to where we are, they'll go right through and they'll essentially hang a left out of the roundabout.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
And then you'll travel actually through this one, which is down, this is actually the northbound off-ramp of 29. So if you were coming from San Sui Parkway, you would use this roundabout.
Okay, all right.
And then once again, you would take go to this direction to go to the South Valley Parkway, and this way will take you back into this direction.
And I assume, to state the obvious here, there's going to be signs all along the way letting people know that this is the road you get into for the South Valley Parkway, and so that there won't be much confusion there, hopefully, correct?
Hopefully not, yeah.
Okay,
It'll be well signed to help direct traffic where it has to go.
Okay, good.
This roundabout is actually traffic coming from Wilkes-Barre.
Okay.
That will travel, that wants to get to the South Valley Parkway, will travel through this roundabout, which leads into this roundabout.
Okay, so if somebody's getting off 29, they're not going to end up going through all 6 roundabouts.
No,
if
they're going to get to, if they want to come to the Luzerne County Community College, they'll go through 5 roundabouts.
Okay, all right. Now I've noticed, and there's a second board here behind this as well. Maybe we're going to pull that off. But so far, only one of these is a 2-lane roundabout. The rest are all single lane.
Yes.
So 5 of the 6 are single lane roundabouts.
That's correct.
That's correct? Okay,
Yep.
and the only one, because of the traffic, is going to be the first one when you're getting off of 29.
That's right.
All right. So then, okay, so we go through those 3 or 2, depending on where we're coming from.
Right.
The next 3 roundabouts are all on the new road, or upgraded road, and at these 3.
Well, once you travel, you'll go through these roundabouts, the first 3. You'll travel onto the new South Valley Parkway.
Okay.
And then you'll be brought back onto Middle Road, the existing Middle Road now.
Okay, all right.
And then you'll travel through the first roundabout, would be at Kosciuszko Street, which is a single lane roundabout.
Okay.
And this will be the South Valley Parkways in this direction. And if you want to go to Kosciuszko Street, it would be to go north or travel through and continue on to Middle Road.
Okay.
Which leads to the SB Street roundabout, which we're
that's
at
where
right
we're
now.
At here. Okay.
Yep. And this takes you to SB Street, or you could continue on Middle Road to the last roundabout at Prospect Street, which is also another entrance to the school.
Behind us,
Correct.
Right. Okay. And,
Yes.
and by this point, you're almost to the college.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that takes you right up to the college there. As people are getting used to these roundabouts, any tips that you would give them as far as, just because it's such a new concept, as people are coming in, tips for the traveling motorist that you would have?
I think the first tip is to always slow down as you come into a roundabout.
Okay.
And then you'll see a yield sign. When you see that yield sign, yield, look to your left.
And I'm going to add one more to that, because it's a personal issue of mine to help the public understand. Slow down and put your phone down, or whatever distraction you have, because
Exactly.
You should have your phone down at all times anyway. But certainly when you're coming to a new traffic pattern like this, put down all distractions, slow down. And you made a good point. You see the yield sign when you're coming in. I think a lot of people are confused with that, because in traffic circles, which are different from roundabouts.
Yes.
Everybody writes to me and says, New Jersey is removing traffic circles and we're putting them in. Traffic circles and roundabouts are completely different animals, so to speak.
Right.
In the old New Jersey traffic circles, the yield was to the people that were inside here, they would yield to the people coming in.
Correct.
Or kind of like the traffic square down in Wilkes-Barre, there's the signals in there. On these, you make a good point. The cars that are coming into this are yielding. If you're inside the traffic circle,
you have the right of way if you're inside.
You have the right of way, and
Yes.
that's really important.
That is
for people
very
to understand.
important.
Pay
Correct.
attention to who has the yield sign there.
Because once you get in the roundabout, you should continue to move. You should never stop in a roundabout.
Okay.
Once you're inside of it.
That is so critical, and we see that when we're up at the airport one.
Right.
Because it's new, and people will be going through there, and they see a car coming, and their instinct is to stop. If you're in the roundabout, you have the right of way. And if you're coming into the roundabout, you don't have the right of way.
Correct.
That's really important.
That's correct.
Any other tips kind of?
And another thing to remember too, as you're coming into a roundabout, is specifically for these, is that there's crosswalks. So you always want to yield to the pedestrians in a crosswalk first, before you yield to the traffic.
And so the crosswalks are only crossing where the traffic would be coming in, like somebody inside the roundabout is not going to yield to a
No.
Okay, so
No.
the crosswalk, so that's important too. If you're inside the roundabout, you shouldn't be having pedestrians. We're not going to have a situation
No.
where pedestrians are standing where we are, where they've crossed
Correct.
into here. The crosswalks are to the traffic that already has the yield sign
That is
coming in.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
The other thing I like to tell people too is that when you get into the roundabout, you should be able to look out your driver's side window, i.e. your left,
Right.
and see the middle of the roundabout.
You
If you're
should.
looking out the other side, that means you're either in Australia or England or going the wrong way.
That's right.
And so
want
if
that.
on these, it's not going to be quite as complicated because they are smaller. But you want to make sure that the center of the roundabout is off your left-hand side, and you're going counterclockwise through the roundabout.
That's correct.
Chris, one of the other questions we get asked is this area that we're standing on right here.
Right.
It's a truck apron. A lot of people look at these roundabouts and they say that Chris Thomashefsky designed this wrong because trucks can't make it through. They're driving up onto the roundabout. Explain what this is, and I think I know the
Okay.
answer. Explain. This is designed for trucks, correct?
It definitely is. This is called a truck apron.
Okay.
It's made from concrete. It's for trucks to actually have their back end of their trailer to drive up on through it. That way, we don't have to make the roundabout so large. We could accommodate the smaller vehicles and accommodate the bigger vehicles as well.
So if people are driving through here and they see a large truck that comes up onto this, don't call us and say the roundabout was designed too small. This is designed specifically for trucks to drive up onto.
Yes.
I see right now it has about a 4 or 5 inch lip.
Right.
Once the final pave goes through, that will be less, I assume, or is this what it will be?
This is where it's at right now. This is the final grade. The reason for that lip is to keep your everyday vehicles off of the concrete.
Oh, okay.
You only
All right.
want the tractor trailer to actually come up on top of it.
Okay.
So it deters your normal driver from using it.
Okay, and so great. So the trucks know that they can come up and they will drive up on this, but the cars, it's designed big enough for the cars to go through without needing to come up onto this. Okay.
And probably another thing we should remember too, when you're in the roundabout and you're ready to exit the roundabout, you should use your blinker. So that way, when people are coming into the roundabout and are yielding, they know where you're going to go.
Okay. So for example, if you're coming up from, what road is this here?
This is SB
This
Street
is
right
SB.
here.
So if you're coming up on the SB and you know that you're going to be turning on to Middle Road and that you're not going to be going all the way through,
Right.
when you get in here, turn your right signal on.
Correct.
So that these vehicles know, okay, I can pull out just like you would normally.
Right, just at a normal intersection.
Okay, good.
Yes.
When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the reasons that we have roundabouts and some of the other tips that we would give for motorists. But we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to continue with Chris Thomashefsky and talk more about roundabouts and how we can maneuver through them in a safe manner. Welcome back to Northeast Current. We are talking roundabouts today, and we're here with Chris Thomashefsky, who is the design project manager on this project. You were also the design project manager on the airport project as well.
Yes.
So you've got roundabouts running through your veins.
Sure do.
These days with PennDot, I know you are. Chris, we alluded to it before, but I just want to go through this again because I think this is really important for the public to understand the benefits to roundabouts and some tips as we're utilizing roundabouts and as they're becoming more common across the area. The benefits to the benefits to a roundabout are what? Can you just kind of go through some of this stuff?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have some pointed out here. It's one way, counterclockwise. You're always going around.
Okay.
Like you had mentioned earlier. Make sure the center of the roundabout is to your left on your driver's side. It's a slower speed. You always reduce your speeds between 18 and 22 miles per hour, which reduces the crashes and serious crashes.
Okay.
Roundabouts carry 30% more vehicles than your standard signalized intersection.
Okay.
So that means more vehicles could get through an intersection a lot quicker. And they're less expensive to maintain in operation versus a signalized intersection, which you have to pay for signal poles, you have to pay for electricity, pay for replacing lights.
And that's an expense. A lot of people don't know this, but that's an expense that the local municipalities most of the time have to end up eating that cost. So when
correct.
we have traffic signals in, this is much cheaper for the locals to maintain and to keep it up because they're not always replacing signals and maintaining, even the electric bills with those type of things. These are much more efficient and cheaper for the local municipalities to maintain.
That's correct.
I think this is one of the most interesting graphs down here. When you start looking at the number of crashes in a roundabout as opposed to a traditional intersection, this is something that, because these are new, I think it's tough for us to really get our mind around this because we just assume there are going to be more crashes at a roundabout than a traditional intersection,
Right.
and that's just not the case.
That's not the case. We found in many studies that traffic crashes are reduced overall by 39%. Injury crashes are reduced by 76%. And serious and total injury crashes are reduced by 89%. So you might see initially some as people get used to the
Right.
roundabout, but once everybody gets used to it, the crashes come down.
And I think what's most important is these type here, the injury-related crashes and even the fatality crashes. What we're seeing across the state and across the nation is that these two numbers especially are really beginning to reduce because, again, if you do have a crash, it's that side swipe as opposed to like a traffic signal or a stop sign where it's a T-bone or a head-on crash that you have. These are all very minor type of crashes, but even those seem to be reduced across the board.
Yeah, they definitely are, and that's what this kind of shows. This is your normal intersection with the signalized. You can see all the conflict points when you're versus a roundabout. There's only a few.
Now, I look at this, and for those who say, what are you doing? We don't like roundabouts. I guess we need to understand that across the state and across the nation, we are moving in this direction. And I see this number here that right now, so northeastern Pennsylvania is not the only place that has roundabouts.
No.
There are 32 right now across the state, and more seem to be coming, correct?
More are coming. There's 18 under construction, which includes these 6, and there's 17 that are out under design right now across the whole state.
Okay, so this is the new method of going through traffic, and you said before, whenever we're doing a new project, that we'll always look and say, is this a place that a roundabout can go first? And if it is, we'll go this route because of these numbers, because it increases traffic flow and they tend to be safer. Real quick, and I want to close with this, some of the tips, and again, as people are getting used to these tips I think are really important as we look and say, how do we get through these roundabouts?
Right. Probably most important is to yield to drivers in the roundabout.
Okay.
Stay in your lane. Don't change lanes when you
again,
have to do with double.
only one of these is a 2-lane.
Correct.
But maybe up at the airport. The one in Dallas, I think that is a single lane roundabout. Okay. So a single lane is much easier to navigate than a 2-lane. So, but if you're up at the airport or the one here, there's a 2-lane. Stay in your lane. Don't change lanes in the roundabout. Okay.
Right. Never stop. When you're in the roundabout, never stop. Always continue.
And again, that goes to the fact that the yield sign is for the people coming in. You don't want, when you're in here, you have the right of way. You only yield coming into the roundabout.
Correct.
Okay, good.
And then when you're in a 2-lane roundabout, avoid driving next to oversized vehicles like tractor trailers. Give them room to maneuver through the roundabout. When an emergency vehicle is going through a roundabout, it's much like you would normally do. Just when you have the room, pull over to the right.
Okay, and so
and let them pass.
if I'm inside the roundabout and all of a sudden I hear the fire truck coming, the best method is for me to continue through the roundabout and pull over, correct? Is
Correct.
that okay?
That's
So
the best.
there wouldn't be enough room
Right.
in here unless they utilize the truck apron. So move through and pull over like you normally would, okay?
And then
When in the roundabout,
continue to your exit and then leave the roundabout and pull over to the right side like we had mentioned. So.
Okay, to let emergency roundabout. Well, Chris, thank you for coming down here. And
No, I appreciate
I
it.
know that this is an important issue for the public to understand. One, why do we do roundabouts?
Right.
And to understand what are some tips that we can look at and to understand as we're going through. And this project specifically, what's taking place here with this. So we hope it's been good for our viewers to really understand the reason that we're doing these and some of the tips we're going through. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back, and Mike Toludo, our safety press officer, is going to close us out with some closing comments for the upcoming holiday season. We're here now with Michael Toludo, who is the safety press officer for PennDot. Mike, your job is to help us stay safe on the roads, especially with the holiday season coming up. Any tips that you want to give to our viewers before we close this out today?
Right. It's hard to believe the holiday season is upon us. So we're just working on our Click It or Ticket campaign.
Okay.
So local police department are out there checking for seatbelts. We also want you to be safe this holiday season, not to drink and drive. To be safe, take your time when you're shopping. Make sure you're safe, wear your seatbelt. Do not text and drive again. Do not drink and drive if you're going to a party.
I think that's so important for us to remember, because this is the time of year where there's a lot of people on the roads, and you combine that with the fact that it's going to start snowing here, and we're going to be into the winter season very soon with the snow on the ground. That old cliche, from Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. So there's more cars on the road as well. So really important. Make sure, and I think that we were saying there, make sure you put your phones down, you're not drinking and driving, wear your seatbelts, and slow down.
Absolutely, I totally agree. We want people to be safe this holiday season. We don't want you to be a fatality. We want you to be safe. Also, one thing, if people are out crossing the street, I want you to be careful watching those people out there too.
If we want to get more information, can you give your contact information if people want? I know that you and or I will go into schools, go to different organizations. How can we get in contact with you?
You can call us at the PennDot office in Dunmore. My direct line is 570-963-3502.
And mine is 570-963-4044. If you want more information on any safety tips, whether it's driving in the winter or what we should pack for an emergency kit in our car, what is a good website we can go to?
We can go to the PennDot website. All that information is on the PennDot website, and we used to have a website where you could go through Just Drive PA.
So either justdrivepa.com or www.pa.gov. And that is a good website too. If you want more information on roundabouts, www.pa.gov is a great website that has information on safety tips and or information on roundabouts as well. So thank you, and appreciate you being with us and all your work. And I want to again thank Chris Thomashefsky, who was with us earlier, just for the insight that he was able to give us on roundabouts.